this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty dangle necklace with some of the beads and components that you'll find in the most recent treasure bag, which was the Enchanted Jewels Treasure Bag. However, I do have some of these components and a few things on my website, so if you'd like to make something very similar, you can. Or you can just draw inspiration from this tutorial and use some of the techniques and make something with what you have. You do not have to have the treasure bag to follow the tutorials. Let's look at this. It's really pretty. So here's the bottom part. That's just when this is hanging vertically, these stack so pretty, and I will try to take a picture and put it on a neck model so you can see what it looks like. But I've used the triangle beads and the big crystals, the big rice-shaped crystals, and just some jump rings and a component, some chain. Very simple and pretty quick to accomplish. So let's go ahead and look and see what it takes to make this particular necklace and earring set. Okay, for this project today, we are going to be using some things from the Enchanted Jewels Treasure Bag. So what we're going to be using from the treasure bag is this little component here. Now I do have a lot of these extras, so I will list some, so if you want to do something similar to what I'm doing and you need this component, you can get it. We're going to be using all 5 of these large rice-shaped crystals that are in the treasure bag, and you can use anything that's a larger bead as a focal. You do not have to have these. We're going to be using the 4 to 6 millimeter triangle beads that are in the treasure bag. Now I have 2 different types on my website. I have some in this size that are in mixed color strands that would look really nice with this particular project, and then I have some very small ones that are like 2 to 4 millimeter. You'll want to stay with the big triangle beads for this, so if you want to get some, I will post a link for those. So we'll be using probably the full strand that came in your treasure bag. Then we're going to be adding to the treasure bag some head pin or eye pins, excuse me. You'll need 4 eye pins, and you will need a couple sizes of jump rings. So I have got an 8 millimeter in diameter and a 4 millimeter in diameter, and these are in kind of a rose gold tone or bright copper tone. I'm going to use it. I think the contrast with the antique color is pretty. So these are like 20 gauge. That works. Do not go anything thicker than that. You would be better off if you actually had like a 22 gauge or a 21 gauge. That would work even better for this particular project. But these I bought in a package that had 3 different sizes like this from Michael's, and it's the Bead Landing brand. So if you need those, then you kind of know where to go. But like I said, it would be better to have a thinner jump ring if possible. And then I have a few 6 millimeter jump rings out too, and a lobster claw clasp. I'm going to make a little extender with these and use a lobster claw. You can use any clasping you'd like. The toggle that's in the treasure bag will work just fine also, because it's a small toggle and it will work fine on your necklace. I have cut 2 4 1/4 inch pieces of chain that was in the treasure bag. You can use any chain you want. You'll just need basically that measurement. And then I have cut 4 pieces of 6 links, so that's just a little over a 1/2 inch for each one. So whatever chain you'd like to use, just make those measurements about the same. You don't have to count the links because the links may be a different size. Just cut that measurement. And then I have 4 eye pins, and I have them in the rose gold tone. You want a nice stiff eye pin. You do not want a really soft one because we're just going to make basic loops, and you want the loops to hold. And that, my friends, is what we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and I have some 4 millimeter. So let me do this again just in case I didn't say it. I have 4 millimeter jump rings. I have 8 millimeter jump rings and just a few 6 millimeter jump rings. And you can, of course, these smaller ones, you want them to be in a little heavier gauge so they hold everything together. These bigger ones, if you can find a really thin gauge, you'll be better off. And you can also go up in size. It'll make the project a little easier if you have even maybe a 10 millimeter. It's up to you. So let's go ahead and get started on this project. Okay, to start this project, we're going to make 25 little dangle components with our jump rings in the size 8 millimeter round and the size 4 millimeter round, and 2 of your triangle beads. Now, like I said, you'd be better off with a little smaller gauge jump ring than I have, but it does work. So there can be a little fussing with this at trying to get the beads on, but if you place your chain nose or your flat nose pliers on one half of the opening and then place another pair on the other half of the opening and then crank it open pretty darn wide, this kind of opens up the curve a little bit and allows you to get your beads on better. Hold it with the other plier and then grab one of your beads and just slide it on. Now, if it doesn't slide on easily like this, turn the bead over and try it. If that doesn't work, then turn your jump ring and try the other side and see if it will slide over a little bit better. If not, get a different jump ring or get a different bead. But the beads are drilled, one side is usually a little bit larger than the other. So I have slid 2 of my triangle beads on, and then I'm just going to grab my jump ring again on both sides, and I'm going to close it. So just the same way I opened it, I'm just going to twist it back, jiggle it a little bit, make sure it's closed tightly, and there is my little dangle component. I'm then going to grab another jump ring, and this time it's the 4 millimeter jump ring, and I'm just going to put my pliers on either side of the opening. And you want these jump rings to be a little heavier gauge. You don't want them to be really thin because they're going to be holding your piece together. So I'm just going to open it by putting my plier on one side and then another plier on the other side and just crank it open like that. And then I'm just going to put it on the jump ring that I put my triangle beads on and then close it back the same way that I opened it, just by twisting it shut. You can shimmy it a little bit and just make sure that it's closed tightly, and this is your component. You're going to go ahead and make 25 of these, and we'll be back. Okay, so once you've made your 25 little components with your jump rings, then you are going to make 5 components with these long beads. And again, you can use any type of bead for your focal that you'd like. You may want to put 2 or 3 beads together to get some of the length, or you'll just have to use more chain on your necklace. So I have put my bead onto a head pin, or an eye pin, and I'm just going to hold on to the bottom of it to make sure that the eye pin is flush with the bottom of the bead here, the loop part. And then I'm going to grab some of my flat nose pliers and just slightly above that bead, I am going to bend that over into right angle, just straight over. And then let me bend that just a little further. And then I'm going to cut it down to about 1/4 inch, like this. And then I'm going to grab my round nose pliers, and I'm going to place this end of the wire right in the end of my pliers here, towards the end, because I don't want a huge loop. You might want to look at the other side of your eye pin and see what size of a loop you have. Place it on the end of the wire here, and then make sure it's flush with the back of your pliers and begin to turn. Turn as far as you can, and then take your plier out, turn it over, insert it back into the loop towards the end. You want it to be grasping the end of the loop there, and then continue to turn all the way in. Then you can take it out and adjust it. and you should have a loop. Now, if you need to, you can adjust the centering of the loop by pulling on the back side of the loop, and then grab your chain nose or flat nose pliers and grab the open half and just shimmy it by twisting it open and closed and pushing it towards the long portion of the wire. And then you have a nice little loop that's centered and closed tightly. Then you're going to grab 2 pairs of flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers and just make sure your loops are at the same angle, like this. And you're going to make 4 of those, or excuse me, 5 of those. So go ahead and make all 5 of your crystals into these components and we'll be back. Okay, so once you've made your components like this, then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this component out and one of the little jump ring components that you made, and you're going to take the small jump ring that's on your component and you're going to open it. So let me find the opening here. Put one of your pliers on one side and on the other, open it, and you're going to connect it to the crystal component on one side. And then close that little jump ring. Make sure it's closed nice and tightly, and then you have a component that looks like this. Now you are going to grab one of your little jump rings, and so this is the 4mm jump ring, and we're going to open it, and we're going to connect this component to this component on the very center bottom loop here. So we're just going to open this jump ring, slide it on the component, slide it on the bottom, and then close that jump ring. Oops, I knew I was going to slide off of there. Let me make sure that's shut okay. Yep, and so this is what you have. Now we're going to build one side of the necklace and then we'll build the other side. I happen to have one side already done, except for my clasping. So I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to do this side, and then you'll do exactly the same thing on the other side. So we're just going to connect all of our little jump ring components to the main component. So you have this already. We're going to start working up the side, and then we'll connect some chain and a couple of these components. So now let me back off so you can see what this looks like. When you pick this up, these components hang vertically really pretty. When you lay it down, it looks kind of messy, but they lay really nice. So what we're going to do now that you have this component on is we're going to start connecting components all the way up this side on the chandelier component. So just grab your components again, find the opening on the small jump ring, open it up, and then start putting them on your loops. So I'm just going to put it on, drop it down. Let me get you a little closer. And then close my jump ring. And then again, I will open up a component, just like that, and then slide it on. And you kind of, especially when you've already got one side done, you kind of have to balance this on your pliers and then just close your jump rings. There we go. Continue putting these on until you have gone all the way to the top here. So basically you're going to put on 4 components and we'll be back. Okay, so now I have put my 4 components on this side. So basically what you will have at this point is your bottom piece, your little dangle, and then 4 dangles on this side. Now we're going to start building the upper portion of the necklace. So you're going to grab one piece of your 6 links, or about a quarter or a half an inch of chain, and you're going to open another of your small jump rings, your 4mm jump rings, put it on the last link of your chain, and then connect it to the top link here, this loop on the very top here, and close it. Twist it back the way you twisted it open, and then you now have a little piece of chain connected to the top there. Then you're going to grab one of these components, and we're going to go ahead and connect a piece of chain to it, and then we'll connect the other side to this chain. So I'm going to grab a little jump ring, and open it just like I've been doing, and then put it on your crystal on one of the ends, and then put one of the ends of the second segment of your 6 links onto the jump ring, and then close the jump ring. And then grab another one of your crystals and put it on the other side of the chain. So I'm just going to open this jump ring if I can find the opening. There we go. And I will connect it to the chain on the loose component here, and drop this crystal on it, close it, and then I'm going to grab my 4-inch piece of chain, and I'm going to connect it to the back of this one. So let me move this out of the way and grab another small jump ring, open it, put it on one end of the longer segment of chain that you have, and drop it on your crystal component and close it. And then come back to your necklace. The small or the large chain is going to go towards the back of your necklace, and you're going to connect the chain that's connected to your component to your crystal. So let's get one more small jump ring, and I'm just going to pick up this chain, put it on the jump ring, and this component, put it on the jump ring, and I'm going to close it. And I will back off so you can see what I have so far. So now I have this completely prepared, and all I have to do is put some dangles on the segments in between. So what I'm going to do is I am going to ignore the jump ring that's connected to the chain, and I'm going to grab one of my components with the crystals on it, and I'm going to open the small jump ring that's on it, if I can. There we go. These little openings are very hard to see. So I'm going to place my plier on one side, and then my other plier on the other side, and then I'm going to skip this jump ring, and then I am going to put this jump ring, or this jump ring, on the first link on the outside of the link. So you can see as it's laying out, you can see that this is the outside portion of the link here. I'm going to make sure that I put all of them on the outside portion. You can see as it lays out, one of your links lays kind of flat, the next one lays kind of vertical against your bead mat. We're going to work on the flat one, so we're going to do every other link, and we're going to do it towards the outside of the link. So I'm just going to pick this up, put it on the outside portion of the link here, and then I'm going to close the jump ring. And then I'll lay everything back out so that I can see my links clearly. I'll skip the next link here and then go to the one above it and go towards the outside of the link and put another of my prepared little guys on here. So I'll open here. It's a very simple process. It just takes a little time to make all your components. Once you have all your components made, then you can put this together fairly quickly. So I'm going to skip this one, lay it out, skip that one, and go to this one, go to the outside of the link. Come on. And put my little jump ring in there, and then close it. And then lay my piece back out. Untwist everything so I can see how my components are going on. Because if you do this correctly, then they all lay really pretty. When you pick this up, they all lay vertically next to each other, and it's just a really pretty dangle effect. So now that I have this one on, I'm going to skip this one and put one on here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put one on the jump ring up here. So go ahead and skip your next link, put one on this link, and then put one on the jump ring here. Okay, so I have put all 4 of my components on this side, skipping every other link, and then putting one right on the jump ring that connects the chain to the component here. So I have one on that jump ring right there. Then we are going to work on this segment of chain here, and we're going to put 4 more components on. And we are going to start by skipping the first jump ring and then going to the first link. So exactly the same thing we just did. We're going to grab one of our prepared components and open the small jump ring. And skip the jump ring, go to the first component or the first link, and make sure that you go to the outside of the link. So let me lay this out. My chain is kind of messed up. There we go. Now I can see the outside of my link here, and I will grab a hold of it, lift it up, and close it. And again, you're going to put 4 of them on, skipping every other link. Lay your piece out each time so that you can see the links clearly, so that you can grab the outside of each link. Let me get you really close, and you can see that one of my links will lay vertical, one will lay flat. I'm targeting the flat laying ones. You just have to lay it out a couple of times as you do this so you can see exactly where you're connecting to the link. Go ahead and put one on every other link. So we're going to put one here, we're going to skip this one, put one here, skip this one, and put one on the jump ring, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have put my 4 little components on this side. And then you're going to go ahead and do the other side exactly the same way. And then let's get you close so you can see what it looks like. And when you pick this up, like I said, they all hang vertically, and it's just so pretty. Instead of laying out flat like this, they lay next to each other, and it's just gorgeous. So now all we have to do, once we've finished both sides exactly the same way, is we need to put some clasping on the back here. So I'm going to connect about 6 jump rings together, the 6mm, and I am going to make a little extender for one side. So I have like 6 jump rings here, and I'm just going to connect them together. But first, for this side, I'm going to put my lobster claw on. Of course, you can use your little toggle. You can use whatever clasping you would like. But basically, I am just going to pick up one of my small jump rings and open again. And then put it on the loop of the clasp, and then put the clasp on the end of the chain here. And that side is prepared. Then I'm just going to take these jump rings and I'm going to start connecting them together. So I will just open a jump ring and I'm going to put 2 jump rings on it. And now that I spread them out, I have 3 together. So I'm just going to open this one. Put another one on. And close it. And just continue as long as you want your extender to be. Now, what I've made this necklace to be is 18 inches. So if you want to, you can make it 16 inches and make an extender. 16 inches is a small, and then you can extend it all the way up to 20 inches if you'd like. So you'd have to put like a 4-inch extender on. But I have made mine 18, and I'm just putting a small extender on because some people need a 20-inch necklace. So this will make it more universal for whoever wants to wear it. So now that I've connected all of my jump rings together, just open them, close them, put them on, and I think I was out of camera, but you just connect them together, then put it on the end of your chain. And then I have made one extra little component to put on the end here of my jump ring components. So I have this one, and I'm just going to open the small jump ring, and I'm going to put it on the end here just to make it a little cuter. Yeah, that didn't work. It's hard to see the opening in these jump rings sometimes, and I think I just messed up my jump ring. No, it's all right. Okay, so I'm going to put it on here. Open that a little wider. And now I have a little decoration at the end of my extender. So this is what it looks like. It's like that. And I lay this out. And I think I'm going to come up with a little pair of earrings. All you have to do is use some of these components again. So I am going to make, probably 6 components just like this. So it will be the jump ring with the two little stones on it and the small jump ring. So I'm going to make 6 more of those, and I'll come back and make a pair of earrings. Let's show you what this necklace looks like. This is really very, very pretty. So, and once I make the earrings and stuff, I'll lay this out nice and pretty so you can see it. I'll try to put it on a neck model for my picture so you can see how it dangles when it's up and not laying flat, being all squashed up against the bead mat. So let's see. That's what that looks like, and it's just really a very, very pretty sparkly necklace, just like that. All right, so let me go ahead and prepare for the earrings. I'm going to try to find a couple of ear wires. I don't know if I have any in rose gold. I will figure it out and come back and we'll put together a very simple pair of earrings to go with this. Okay, so I have designed a really simple pair of earrings. This is what it looks like. So I have put 2 little jump rings in between each one to hold them so that they're nice and even when they dangle. And then I've attached them to a antique bronze wire, considering the fact that I use antique bronze chain and component, chandelier component. I think it'll match fine since I didn't have any rose gold ear wires. So what I'm going to do this is we're going to just make some more of these little components, but instead of putting one little jump ring on them, we're going to put two. So we're going to find the opening of our 8mm jump ring. And again, if you can find 10mm jump rings, that might even work better for this project. So it'll be a little bit bigger, but it would probably work better getting your beads on. So let me see if I can slide a couple beads on here. So I've got 2 beads on my link, and then I'm going to close it, and then I am going to put 2 little jump rings on it. I don't like that plier. I don't know why I keep grabbing that plier. I don't like it. It's round. It doesn't work for this. So now I've closed this little link here. I'm going to grab 2 of the smaller jump rings, and I'm going to put them on the big jump ring. One more. Whoopsie, whoopsie. Okay, so you want to put them right next to each other. So put your beads on one side and your jump rings on the other. And then once you have closed those, grab another of your big jump ring. Let me find the opening here. Open him up. And I think I need to open that a little wider. Oops. And then slide on one of your beads. Let's see, are you going to work? Yeah. And then we're going to slide on both of the jump rings on the previous unit, just like this. So I've got a bead on, then I've slid both of those jump rings on, and I've thrown it across the room, and there we go, just like that. And then I'm going to put on another bead. Let's see if I can get it to slide down a little better. There we go. And then I'm going to close this jump ring. Then I'll put on 2 more little jump rings and make another unit and connect it exactly the same way. So we'll put on our 2 little jump rings and go ahead and make your next unit, slide it on there, and we'll be back. Okay, so now I have put my 3 links together. Now you can do it one of 2 ways. With this one, I put 2 jump rings, single jump rings hooked together. You could put 2 on the bottom and then 1 on the top here. The reason you have to have a double link up here is so that this hangs correctly, so it hangs out like this. If you just put it to the big jump ring, if you put your ear wire on the big jump ring, it'll hang correctly. But if you put 1 small jump ring, it'll hang sideways. So you need 2 small jump rings. Now you could match this and put 2 and then 1 and then your ear wire if you'd like. But I am just going to open 2 jump rings, hook them together, and then put them on my ear wire. So I'm going to open the small jump ring here and hook it to another jump ring. And close it. Some of these jump rings are not cut the best, I'm telling you. I've had a struggle with these little guys. The big ones are fine, the little ones are kind of weird. So now I'm going to open this one and I'll put it on here. Then I'm going to open this one again, or actually I could just open my ear wire if I want. If I don't want to deal with those jump rings anymore, I'll just open the loop on my ear wire and then hang it on there. Put the loop on, close it, and voila. I have a pair of earrings. Very simple, very cute. And you could even make a bracelet this way, putting double links and then your little links with your beads on either side, and connect them all together and put a jump ring and a lobster claw or something like that on either side, even a toggle. And you would have a really cute, dainty little bracelet, because look at how pretty that lays against the skin. It's really pretty. So, and if you used a multicolored strand of the triangle beads, that would be really pretty with like silver or another color. This kind of blends all together, the color tones, but you could make it pop more by using different colors and even a different color of metal. So let me get this necklace out here and I will adjust this so you guys can see what it looks like. And we'll just put the whole thing together here. And I'll put this on a neck model and see what kind of pictures I can take. Sometimes it's just not quite as nice as a picture laying out, but I'm telling you, this looks so much better when it's actually hanging. So let me arrange this. I'll be right back. And here it is, all laid out pretty for you, the best I can get it. It looks, of course, better when it is dangling vertically so that you can see the full effect of how the jump rings and the crystals just kind of stack next to each other. It's really pretty. Anyway, this is what we've made today, and I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button and the notification bell so we can continue making really pretty pieces of jewelry today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see ya. Bye-bye.